our new homeroom professor?
Is that true? You aren't quite what I had pictured. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
I was sure you'd be roped into joining the Knights.
Don't tell me. You chose this class just to get to know me better, right? I'm flattered, really. Whoops. Now that you're our professor, maybe I should choose my words more carefully. Oh, well then, since we're pretty close in age and all, I suppose formalities aren't all that necessary.
One must truly marvel at the exceptionality of this appointment. Becoming a teacher to students almost the same age as yourself. How unusual. I've heard you are a skilled mercenary, but I cannot shake my discomfort at your new position.
Are you really as strong as they say? Let's see your biceps. I bet I packed on more muscle than you.
I doubt that. Apparently our new professor was personally recommended by Alois, one of the Knights.
As far as skill goes, I saw it with my own eyes. What's more, Teach here is the child of the most renowned former captain of the Knights of Seiros.
I heard. There's no way a child of the captain isn't worthy. It's simply not possible. The captain? Who are you talking about? Captain Geralt, of course. The most notable captain of the Knights of Seiros and a peerless mercenary. Huh. It doesn't matter what you think of him. Captain Geralt deserves nothing but respect. Well, after working as a mercenary alongside a father figure such as he, I have high hopes for our professor. Just because someone is special doesn't mean their children are special too, Lysithia. Assuming that a child is going to be exceptional just because of their lineage is a bad idea. Don't you agree, Marianne? Huh? Oh, yes, I suppose so. Well, we can find out for ourselves in battle. I can't wait to see what tactics you've learned from the captain.
A battle? Shouldn't we have a welcome party or something first? I'll get the meat.
How savage. I propose a nice conversation over tea instead. I am more than willing to procure some high-quality leaves.
Tea? You can't get to know someone over tea. If there's no meat involved, it's not a party.
Your common sensibilities are grating to my noble ears. Please quiet yourself.
Sorry for the bickering, Teach. As you can see, the Golden Deer House is a rowdy bunch. We're not especially unified. You'll find nobles and commoners alike here, those who are dedicated to their studies alongside slackers. But hey, that just makes your life more exciting, right? I really hope you're looking forward to the year ahead as much as I am. Time for a mock battle, eh? How should we go about this? Well, you'll be our commander, that much is for sure. Just don't screw it up and everything will be great. Got it, Teach? Right, I'll do whatever I can to help too. I mean, I'm kind of obligated to. For example, if I add a little something to their food to upset their stomachs... Yeah, wink wink, I read you. You can't officially condone that sort of thing, right? But say, hypothetically speaking, students from the other houses started racing to the infirmary. As far as anyone knows, it could just be a harmless little stomach bug making the rounds.
Well, what a fascinating conversation you two are having. May we join?
Claude, I can't believe you would stoop to such crooked schemes to gain the advantage. Have you no honor?
If that was really my scheme, I wouldn't be talking about it out in the open. I'm afraid you'll have to wait until our battle to see what's really in store.
It's irrelevant anyhow. Whatever you have planned won't save you from a crushing defeat.
She has a point. Still, I'm rather eager to see what sort of schemes that mind of yours conjures up.
You heard him, Teach. We can't let these fine folks down. Of course, a fair fight, as all fights are. Good one, Teach. Play innocent now so they won't see it coming.
Oh, how precious. Looks like you and the students have become fast friends.
While I am pleased that you are taking the initiative to acquaint yourself with the students, I'm afraid it's about time for the faculty strategy meeting.
I'm sorry, professors. It's about time I returned to my training anyway. Claude, Edelgard, until we meet again on the battlefield, farewell.
I look forward to assessing your abilities. I hope you don't disappoint.
Great work, Teach. That was a brilliant win. Playing ignorant as to the quality of your command and deflecting the praise to your students. You really are a model professor, Teach. To be honest, I had a bunch of other schemes planned as well, just in case the situation called for it. But I didn't have to resort to any of them. I suppose our opponents lucked out.
Well met, Professor. The breadth of your skill was on full display today. I must admit that your tactics were masterful. I shudder to think what may have transpired had it been Claude leading us into battle.
I noticed that too. We just did what you told us, and we won! I love it!
As expected from a child of the former captain of the Knights. Thank you for today, Professor. I have much to consider. I never doubted that our professor would be amazing. It was way too obvious. Don't you agree, Marianne?
Huh? Me? Oh, yes, of course. Well done, Professor.
Captain Gerald taught his child well. It would have been more of a surprise had our professor proved lacking.
Don't you think it's a bit harsh to give Gerald all of the credit, Leonie? In any case, it's clear that we only won because of our new mentor's guidance.
A mercenary's wisdom and techniques are forged in battle. Those are the sorts of things you can only learn through experience, right, Teach? But more importantly, it's time to celebrate our victory. Teach here has yet to try my well-renowned home cooking. I really do hope you'll join us. After all, I swiped some finely aged cheese from the dining hall for just this occasion. Hey, Teach. I see you're as stony-faced as usual. I can't tell if you're feeling resigned or if you're just lost in thought. Or maybe you simply don't care about anything that's going on. Oh, sorry. I really didn't mean to be rude. I just find you fascinating. Actually, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. Can you spare some time? That's just the sort of attitude I'd expect from a new teacher. Speaking of, before you came here, you were a mercenary, right? Always getting your hands dirty on the battlefield and whatnot? It's a bit unusual that you suddenly decided to become a teacher one day. In any case, I've been meaning to ask, did your father teach you how to fight? I figured. Your father used to lead the Knights, didn't he? And I hear he was a legendary mercenary as well. It must have been hard on your mother when you followed in your father's footsteps and became a mercenary too. I see. I suppose you grew up moving from battlefield to battlefield with your father then. You know, for someone who's right around the same age as me, you certainly have an unusual amount of composure. I guess it's only natural that you'd be different from young nobles who grew up in the lap of luxury. Well, even so, I am heir to House Regan, the leading family of the Alliance. But I didn't exactly grow up in luxury like most people of noble blood. Hey, maybe that's why you and I get along so well. Folks like us should stick together. As house leader, I'll do all I can to help you out. We can start by making time for more little chats like this. Nice work, Teach. Still, that fight left a foul taste in my mouth. That aside, did you see how Catherine fought? Ha! I love the confidence, Teach, but you're no match for the hero's relics. They're on a whole different level. Makes you wonder about that legend. Oh, it's nothing. Just the usual fanciful nonsense. An ancient relic that once cut a mountain in half with a single swing. That's what they say, anyway. But as amazing as Thunderbrand is, I don't think it fits that description. Apparently, relics can harness tremendous power for those with a compatible crest. Though you can technically use one so long as you have any crest at all. Yeah, I don't know. Long story short, I'd like to try cutting a mountain in half someday.
Ooh, are you talking about relics? You'll be able to use one soon, Claude. I just know it. After all, you've already been selected as the next head of House Regan.
Easy there, Hilda. I don't know how apt soon is. My grandfather is still unbearably healthy. Oh, is this news to you, Teach? Yours truly was recently recognized as a legitimate child of House Regan. They possess one of the hero's relics too, though I've yet to see it. I officially joined House Regan only last year. Before then, I lived with my father. When I learned that my mother was the daughter of an Alliance noble, I was so surprised I thought the whole world was pulling a fast one on me for a week.
So that means your mother is Duke Regan's daughter, right? Where is she now?
I can't say. My mother's currently living in a different world than the one she grew up in and has no desire to return home.
Okay. You sure have a lot of secrets, don't you?
I'm just keeping a promise to my parents. Make of that whatever you will. In exchange for my so-called secrecy, I'm free to do as I please. Which is why I decided to see what the other side of my family was like. That's how I found out about this strange crest I bear.
Professor, Claude, it sounds like the troops will be withdrawing soon. We should return as well.
We won. We should be celebrating. Instead, we're heading back with heavy hearts.
Whoa there, what's the matter? You look as sad as a kitten without any yarn. If we hadn't done what we did, the rebel army would have followed this road all the way to the monastery. And they would have crushed all the little villages along the way. We stopped that from happening. You should be proud.
Sorry to intrude, but this incident may be more serious than anticipated. I found this on Lord Lenato. It's a note that mentions a plan to assassinate Lady Rhea. We can't tell who sent it, so the source is suspect, but the content is too disturbing to ignore. We must report this to Lady Rhea right away. I hope that it's nothing.
The rite of rebirth is finally underway. Time to see if our hunch was right.
I hope it's not. Then we wouldn't have to fight anyone.
We've all come to this conclusion together. I'm sure we've got it right.
Right or wrong, the clock is ticking. All we can do for now is stick to the plan.
You seem a mite too relaxed for my liking. The goddess's rite of rebirth is about to begin. While we are in the goddess tower, we are relying on you to secure the locations that are lacking in defense.
May I let you in on something, Professor? My brother can be a bit callous. He told me that he was concerned about you, and hinted that perhaps you would be better off patrolling a coffin.
That was said in jest, Flane, and in confidence. Please just remain by my side and do not cause any more trouble. As a professor, you would do well to remember that it is your duty to guide your students down the path of righteousness.
Please excuse us, everyone. We shall see you again after the ceremony has concluded.
Sedith is way too overprotective. He reminds me of my brother.
Come on, Teach. I know a hidden spot where we can monitor the stairs that lead to the Holy Mausoleum. If there's anyone down there, they'll be trapped like the rats they are. We'll just have to take them down without getting bitten. Back to the subject at hand. What I found last night was a sealed coffin in the underground Holy Mausoleum. I did some research, and the only time you can easily get in and out of that place is during the Rite of Rebirth. And because of that alleged assassination plot, it has even thinner defenses than usual. It's all too clear. Hey, Teach. I gotta say, I never would have guessed you were a descendant of the King of Liberation. You didn't forget, did you? That story I told you about a relic that could cut a mountain in half? That relic was the Sword of the Creator, the very same used by Nemesis, the King of Liberation. Don't be coy, Teach. The Sword of the Creator could only be wielded by Nemesis. If you can use it too, that can only mean you have that bloodline's crest. Fine, keep your secrets. But just so you know, I don't understand isn't gonna cut it here at the monastery. Speaking of, Professor Hanneman has been looking for you. He probably wants to examine your crest with those crazy instruments of his. Actually, sounds amusing. Maybe I'll tag along.
If it isn't my little Claude, what has you so worked up?
Judith, what are you doing here?
That's Lady Judith to you, boy. I told you, until you're in charge, I expect you to address me with all due respect. Anyway, I'm here to retrieve you. Duke Regan's condition has taken a turn for the worse.
Are you saying the old man's on his deathbed?
No, it's not that bad. But in the state he's in, he won't be able to participate in the next roundtable conference. He wants you to go in his stead. I volunteered to play the messenger.
Wow, thanks for that. Oh, and Teach, this is Judith, also known as the hero of House Daphnel.
So you're little Claude's teacher, are you? How much trouble has he been giving you?
If her nickname didn't give it away, you should know that Judith, Lady Judith, is the leader of the famous House Daphnel of the Leicester Alliance. She used to be a big deal at the roundtable conferences, but it seems of late she's been reduced to a mere...
You had better shut that mouth before I put my boot in it, you tactless nuisance. Now come on, let's get going. Sorry, Professor, but I need to borrow the boy for a bit.
I suppose we'll have to finish our chat later. Sorry, Teach. But don't you worry, I'll be back in time for our next mission. All right, Judith, let's get going.
It's Lady... I suppose you are the active leader for the time being. Fair enough, boy. Fair enough.
I can't believe our house leader ate so much he passed out. I guess he should just sleep it off? Oh, Professor! Great work today.
As long as we have you and Claude, the Golden Deer House is unstoppable.
I am sure we did not require Claude for our victory, but it certainly would not have been possible without our professor.
I'm so pleased to be in your class, Professor. You truly bring out the best in us.
Let's keep fighting and winning!
I knew the tactics you learned from the captain would be something else. I better work harder to catch up.
I have had the opportunity to experience much. Please allow me to offer you my gratitude once more, Professor. Because of you, I managed to get through the fight without feeling like a burden. Thank you, Professor.
I hear Lady Rhea and Sedith are singing your praises too. You're always so modest.
You really showed them, Teach. I would really hate to be on your bad side.
Oh look, Claude has been revived.
Your tactics were ingenious, and you've somehow mastered the power of the King of Liberation's relic. You really are incredible. Though you can be a bit absent-minded at times. Your mind is like a giant bowl with a tiny crack in it.
Claude, saying that only makes your own mind bowl seem tiny.
How dare you? My bowl is much bigger than Teach's. Unfortunately, it doesn't just have a crack. The whole bottom of my bowl is missing.
In other words, you are the absent-minded one, not our professor.
That's true. He just admitted it.
It's unusual to hear you laughing, Marianne. Your smile is really cute.
It feels so great to laugh and joke around like this, doesn't it? Well, look at that. Someone's having a secret rendezvous in the courtyard.
All joking aside, I'm having trouble sizing you up, Teach. The honest truth is that I'd hate to have you as an enemy. If possible, I wish for you to fight by my side. If I could use the sword of the Creator, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I bet if I could use it, you would trust me to, right? That selflessness may be what I like best about you. Hey, Teach, that assignment wasn't my favorite, I've got to admit. I suppose pretending to be unaffected doesn't do anyone any good. That was terrible to behold. It's always hard to see innocents die. Hey, all you can do is keep smiling, keep marching. That's part of a leader's job. We can't give in to despair. Not just for me or for you, but for all of us in the Golden Deer House. We have to keep smiling so the others can move forward too. As long as we don't show that we're disheartened, they'll know they can make it too. That's what matters. Yeah, sorry for getting ahead of myself, Teach. That's how I feel, but how you handle it is really up to you. By the way, I hear that guy who calls himself the Flame Emperor showed up in Ramire Village. I couldn't believe it when Hilda told me the news. What could he be after? Maybe, after all, he was after the Sword of the Creator in the Holy Mausoleum. But then they kidnapped Flayn and used her blood for their recent attack. Based on that, we should probably assume that their true objective is something other than the relics, don't you think? They called this incident an experiment, and they said they got what they came for. That means they might take this success and attempt something even bigger next time. Sadly, that's all we can assume. There are far too many things we still don't know. Flayn, your timing is impeccable. Would you care to join us for a while, fair lady?
What? Why? Oh my.
Damn, she gave us the slip. In any case, I doubt she knows the full story. It seems more like she has something on her mind that she can't divulge. Whoa there, settle yourself, Teach. Seems like it would be better to push Seteth for an explanation. Or, best of all, to go above his head and ask Rhea. Now that we know Tomas was an enemy, we can't be sure that exposing the Church's secrets would be to our benefit. Where are the answers I seek? Where are they? Hey, Teach, do you believe in gods? I don't necessarily mean the goddess of the Seros religion, just gods in general. Do you believe that incredible beings who control the fates of all really exist? That's not the answer I was expecting. Though, honestly, I've recently become a bit of a believer myself. I've always hated the idea of praying to a god. After all, you can only really rely on yourself. I still believe that. You can't win a war by leaving your fate in the hands of a god. Only tangible facts can really decide a war. Which side has the most troops, the best tactics, the better organization and planning. Of course, miracles can happen, and by that I mean things that are completely outside of your control. Things that only seem to add up if you believe in the concept of fate. Things like, well, like meeting you, for example. You just seem sort of impossible. I think everyone would agree with that. You can wield the sword of the Creator, you're a tactical genius, and you have this strange ability to earn the trust of anyone you cross paths with. Before I met you, I never imagined that it was possible for someone like you to exist. And yet, now that I know you, your presence in my life has quickly become invaluable. In fact, it's hard to imagine making my dreams come true without your help. Because of that, I can't believe for a second that our meeting was just a coincidence. That means it must have been fate. Maybe it was a miracle, or maybe some god empathized with me in my dreams. Again, I don't mean the goddess of Fódlan, though I suppose it may be hard for you to grasp what I'm talking about. People all over the world have different ideas about who or what the gods are, right? Even in distant lands across the ocean or over the mountains. They have gods who see the world as a whole, who don't care about Fódlan's borders, who don't meddle in our affairs, who don't grant life or take it away. And maybe, sometimes, they'll make a miracle happen. A god like that, that's the sort of god I think I could believe in. Careful, Teach. You'll anger the followers of Seros if you say things like that. I'm just speaking my mind, that's all. I think people should be free to believe in whatever gods they want. If a person believes in a god and that god becomes a support system for them, that's a good thing. That's what a god should be. Anyway, maybe I've overstepped a bit. I knew you'd understand. In any case, let's keep this conversation between the two of us, yeah?
Of the Garland Moon, year 1157. Clear skies. I picked some flowers for her and returned home. The look of joy on her face at the sight of these flowers will be even more beautiful than the flowers themselves? Yeesh, that is enough. His entries from before your birth are full of such romantic blatherings as that. Oh, it must be deeply moving you to hear such things, but now is not the time for whimsy. Someone is here. You do not wish for them to see you in this state, so pull yourself together.
I thought I might find you here, Teach. Not the type to wallow in solitude, huh? That's a relief, let me tell you. So, what were you reading? Is that Gerald's? So it is. Hey, maybe this has some entries from when Gerald left the monastery. Is that so? He was the captain of the knights, but something made him leave the monastery in a hurry. If it has something to do with your birth, knowing what happened may get us closer to knowing what secrets the church is hiding. Teach, would you mind letting me read that diary? I know how important it is to you, but I'm not asking lightly. Please allow me to borrow it. I'm forever in your debt, Teach. If you'd refused, I would have had to sneak in here in the dead of night. I wasn't looking forward to the prospect. Anyhow, let me fill you in on what's been going on lately, and not just as thanks for pointing me to that diary. Rhea dispatched the knights to various locations in a frantic search for the enemy. There's a rumor that she's already secured some information. Something big is going to happen soon. That has me wondering, if you find out where the enemy is, what will you do about it? If you ask, No, scratch that. All of us students would gladly lend a hand, even if that means going against Rhea's wishes. Don't forget it. Now go. Everyone's worried about you. You'd better show them you're in good spirits.
Oh, thank you. You saved—
Peach! We won! I'll be honest, when I lost sight of you, I broke into a cold sweat. But Gerald's killer is dead. All's well that ends well. You're kidding, right? I understood putting it off while we were in battle, but now that it's over, just go ahead and spit it out. That hair, those eyes, that unfathomable power. What happened out there? You mean to tell me that an entity who claims to be the goddess was living in your mind? And it's been that way since you were a baby? And this goddess entrusted all of her goddess-like power to you and then vanished. It's a difficult story to swallow, Teach. But the way you look now, I guess I've got no choice but to believe it. How could something like that happen? There must be a clue in Gerald's diary. If you believe the diary, there's a high possibility that Rhea did something to you when you were born. That's likely when all this began. What in the world happened to you as a baby? And what was Rhea after? Teach! What's the matter? Did you trip or— Wait, are you sleeping? This must be an effect of the goddess's power. I wonder if Teach's body can handle the strain. Think, Claude, what now? Maybe Hilda can help carry her back? She'll complain, but she won't refuse. You're going to receive the goddess's revelation at the Holy Tomb? That's news to me. I did not see that coming.
Lady Rhea's going too, right? I hear it will be well guarded, but is that really okay?
If Solon's allies are still around, it's certainly true that we don't know when or where they may appear.
I don't know what type of place this holy tomb is, but we should be cautious.
If something happens, we'll have to take matters into our own hands.
What do you think, Professor? Is it really okay for Lady Rhea to attend?
It seems to be tightly sealed, I'll give you that. We should be fine as long as nothing goes terribly wrong. Yep, just as long as nothing goes wrong. Well, the truth is, we won't know what's going to happen until it happens. All we can do is stay on our guard and play it by ear.
That's quite enough babbling, Claude. There is nobody more unfit for a holy ceremony than you.
Divine punishment won't strike us for setting foot in the holy tomb, right?
Good grief. Why are you always so negative? Flame? Is something on your mind?
Who, me? No. It is nothing. May we all see this through to the end.
It still doesn't make sense to me. A goddess was living inside Teach, right? But now there's a ceremony to receive a revelation or whatever. How could that be necessary anymore? There must be another objective. It's pointless to speculate about it now. We'll know the answer soon enough. There isn't any danger for us students, but be careful, Teach.
Are you surprised, Professor? This is the Holy Tomb.
That mechanism for descending underground back there, what powers it? When I tried to come by myself, it wouldn't even budge.
This is where the goddess who created this world was laid to rest, along with her children. It is said that our creator, the goddess Sothis, sat upon this very throne. Professor, do you recognize this throne? So long. I have waited so very long for this day. Sit upon the throne. I have no doubt you will be gifted a revelation from the goddess. Well? It was supposed to be but a step away. What could possibly be missing?
Sorry to disturb you when you're distressed, Archbishop, but it seems some uninvited guests have arrived.
Don't move, any of you. If you move, your lives will be forfeit. Thank you ever so much for guiding us this far. The Imperial Army will now take possession of everything in the Holy Tomb.
The Imperial Army? What are they doing here?
So, they knew we were heading to the Holy Tomb and followed us here. Hey, who is that standing next to the angry guy? Could that be...
The Flame Emperor. I see. So you've been allied with the Empire from the beginning.
What are they doing here? What do they hope to gain?
There's only one goal for grave robbers like these. Right, Flame Emperor? You're here to steal the treasure that rests within the Holy Tomb.
For a fool you catch on quickly, those crest stones will be ours. That infernal power, which is masquerading as a medicine but is truly a poison, will plague this world no longer.
Insolence! You will atone for the sin of trampling on this holy resting place. Professor, destroy these villainous traitors who dare dishonor our creator. You have disappointed me, Edelgard. To think that a descendant of House Hresvelg would dare betray the Holy Church. Professor, kill Edelgard at once. She is a danger to all of Fódlan. Such a rebellious heart cannot be allowed to keep beating.
I have achieved my objective. I will retreat. Farewell, Professor. If we meet again, it will be on the battlefield. Come, Hubert.
To flee is futile, wicked girl. The Church of Seiros will raise its entire army against you until you have been captured and punished. You have defiled the Holy Tomb, dishonored the goddess, and humiliated your brethren. That crime will never be erased. Even if you burn in the eternal flames and spill all of your blood into the goddess's soil. Come, Professor. Let us return and decide upon our next course of action.
I'm not exactly on friendly terms with the princess, but I do have a few questions for her. Edelgard said that the crest stones represent power. That means she knows how to use them. She almost certainly knows other secrets of Fódlan as well. Once things calm down a bit, there's a lot more that Rhea needs to tell us. I just hope there's still time. I have this strange feeling that history is being written, that an age of anarchy is upon us. Let's hope I'm mistaken.
The leaders of they got those hands by the...
I cannot believe it. Let us be addressed here. I must until then.
I heard what happened, Teach. The princess, well, the Emperor now. She really did it, didn't she? The lords and dukes of both the kingdom and the alliance have been called out, and now have to choose between the church and the empire. The seed of conflict was always there, and now we find ourselves in the middle of a war that will tear Fódlan in two.
The Empire is rash, but I never thought it would come to this.
How could something like this happen? I hope everyone back home is safe.
I'm sure it's mass confusion at home right now. My brother must be worried sick about me.
You're absolutely right, Teach. I'm sure a lot of us are worried about our homes, but all we can do for now is prepare for battle and tread carefully.
Listen up, everyone. The Imperial Army is upon us. If you can fight, pick up a weapon. Everyone else, hurry up and evacuate. We have the goddess's protection on our side. We have nothing to fear. Victory will be ours.
Professor, are you ready? Well, hurry up. I don't need to tell you that the situation is dire. We have some support troops from the local nobles, but the army we're facing is immense. No matter how you look at it, we're at a disadvantage. To make matters worse, the enemy is being led by Edelgard. Do not underestimate how extraordinary her abilities are.
She's back already? Talk about impatient.
If we don't stop them, the Academy will be destroyed. Prepare for battle, everyone!
We will stop Edelgard's rampage!
Our opponent is formidable. But if we work together, we will not fail.
Enough talking. Let's go!
Dear Goddess, please protect us all. I shall fight with all that I have. It is an honor to fight alongside each of you.
Professor, Claude, you'll lead the way, won't you? You won't let any of us fall, right?
I wanted to talk to Rhea first, but as expected, that won't be possible. What did she hope to accomplish at the Holy Tomb? What happened to you as a baby? There are still so many things I need to know. The same goes for the real origin of the Crest Stones and the hero's relics. As for Seiros and Nemesis, just how much of their mythology is true? It's true. But lucky for me, I refuse to die with so much still unknown. Hey, Teach, all joking aside, can we possibly survive this battle? That's all we can do, right? If we gave up, the god of fate wouldn't be happy. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not the kind of man to just roll over and die in a place like this. I have my own ambitions to see to. There are things, dreams, that I must see come to fruition. And I've been thinking, I want you to see those dreams realized as well. On top of all that, there are still so many secrets out there, just waiting to be uncovered. We can't let that stand, can we? So, Teach, no, scratch that. You're so much more. You're my ally and my friend. Teach, friend, none of those words quite capture what you've come to mean to me. We may not be connected by blood, but I believe our bond goes deeper than that. Now that we know each other, our hearts are connected. Even if our paths diverge and we're forced to say goodbye, I know that we'll meet again. And so, for lack of a better word, I gratefully call you my friend. And I hold fast to the belief that this isn't it for us. No matter who or what you really are, I'll always be on your side. You can't count on much in this world, but you can count on that. overslept, Teach. Pretty rude to keep a fellow waiting like that, wouldn't you say? What's with that surprised look, my friend? You didn't really think I'd given up on you coming back, did you? Can you feel it? A new dawn is finally here. Not just for us, though. No. For all of Fódlan. It's been 5 long years. Where have you been, Teach? You don't really expect me to believe that you've been napping this whole time, do you? It's a good one. Except that's not your lying face. I guess I've got no choice but to believe you. You're not exactly normal to begin with, so it's not a huge stretch to imagine you sleeping for that long. And this is where you say, just kidding, right? If this is a rib, now's the time to fess up. You must be insane, and yet... fine. I believe you, okay? But that means you don't know anything that happened after your last battle, right? I guess it's on me to catch you up. As you can see, Garreg Mach was crushed by the Empire and was never restored. The monastery is in ruins, and the town is in pretty bad shape too. Can you guess why? Her body was never found, and the Empire never declared that she'd been killed, so no telling. All we know for sure is that Rhea suddenly vanished during that battle 5 years ago. The Knights of Seiros have apparently been searching all over Fódlan for her, but the fact that this place is in ruins tells me they still haven't found her. Worried, huh? Well, for better or worse, Rhea was clearly fond of you. But I'm not so sure whether it would be good for her to return as the Archbishop. Rather, with her gone... never mind. This could be a dangerous conversation. Before we discuss the state of affairs in each territory, are you hungry? You must be. It's not much, but I did bring some food with me. Let's eat up and go from there. Whew, I am stuffed. Even the most humble of meals taste great with the right company. By the way, Teach, do you remember the night before the ball? I know it was 5 years ago, but we promised that the Golden Deer House would reunite during the Millennium Festival. Today's the day we promised to meet up, but no one's here. You know everyone looked up to you, right? Or is this your way of telling me I was a lousy house leader? Let's wait just a little longer. You never know, maybe someone will show up after all. Hey, Teach, just waiting around sounds boring, so why don't we get in some exercise? You know, help with digestion and stuff. You must be in bad shape if you've been sleeping for 5 years. It'll do you good to get your body moving again. Something like that. Look, if you come with me, you'll understand. Oh, and don't forget your weapons, okay? I want to make sure neither your leadership nor your skill with a blade have dulled.
In the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, Imperial loyalist Cornelia has subdued all regions of the former royal house of Blavid to prevent further revolt. Prince Dimitri has been sentenced. Now, the backbone of the former kingdom, Houses Gautier and Fraldarius, struggle to continue the resistance. Cornelia, operating out of the royal palace, has accepted the support of the Empire to build an army and plots to wipe out all remaining kingdom forces. In the Leicester Alliance, House Regan leads an anti-imperial faction, while House Gloucester directs the Empire's supporters. Despite the undeniable threat of fracture, the Alliance's adept new leader, Claude,
The thieves are here. Apparently they're trying to run off with treasures from the monastery.
What the? Intruders! Protect the goods!
This is gonna get expensive. Collect everything the thieves carried out.
What's my strategy?
At the ready. Sorry, but I must.
I must lead them well. All is going to plan. There's...
We're all desperate, aren't we?
The barbarity is even worse than the rumors. On my honor as a noble, I will expel these ruffians.
Shall we?
My orders?
All right, who's next? I'm impressed. Professor, boy, am I glad to see you. How did we end up in this situation?
You got yourself killed.
Steady now.
Shall we? A nobleman does his duty.
Sorry, but I must. More battles means more strength.
You've been alive all this time?
I fought and won.
I took care of it. I want...
You got yourself killed.
I wasn't about to let you go.
This...
Is that the professor? And everyone else? If they're fighting, I gotta go help.
Wow, it's you! Here I thought you were dead all this time.
that be the professor's ghost?
Hey, you're late. Hurry up and help.
This could turn the tides.
We're all desperate, aren't we?
Let's make this.
Leave it to me.
I'll do my best. Now there's.
Our quarrel wasn't personal. We could split it.
All is going to plan.
Sorry, but I must. At the ready. A fitting outcome.
Steady now.
Shall we?
Leave it to me.
I'll do my best. I must. Shall we?
My orders? How about a curtsy? I'm impressed.
Let's make this quick. I've got no time for mercy.
I believe.
I'll tolerate no obstacle.
I'm all right.
What's my strategy?
Now there's a...
No!
I got...
A predictable success.
It isn't.
Our quarrel wasn't personal.
I will not die yet.
We're all desperate, aren't we?
I thought it'd be...
We took care of that.
I'm exhausted. What gives, Professor? I was so excited to see everyone again, and then this happens.
I'm still tired from the long journey. How did it come to this?
Let's all take a moment to catch our breath.
If you've got the spare time to play with those guys, the least you could do is prepare some tea.
Come on, those guys were thieves. We couldn't just let them get away. It seems they've been taking advantage of the church's absence and doing whatever they please here.
In any case, I'm glad that all of you are well.
That's the spirit, Marianne.
That was fun. In fact, I wouldn't mind romping around some more.
So, you were alive this whole time, Professor. I am not surprised. In fact, that is why I came here.
And it doesn't look like time has rusted your skills. That's a relief.
I'm just glad everyone's alive and well. On that note, let's move this reunion party somewhere else. Now that we've dealt with those violent bandits, we could potentially use this place as our base of operations again.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I'm talking about the Leicester Alliance taking over Garreg Mach Monastery. After all, it's right in the middle of Fódlan. It's a critical strategic location.
Are you suggesting that we fight back against the Empire?
Aren't you getting a bit ahead of yourself? The Alliance is in complete discord at present.
And, as leader of the Imperial faction of the Alliance, isn't Count Gloucester, your father, the main cause of that discord?
Yes, that is true. It was inevitable. Our house's territory is close to Imperial land, after all. Had we not consented to vassalage under the Empire, they would have invaded immediately.
Naturally. And to be clear, I have no problem with your house maintaining its Imperial ties until we're sufficiently prepared to revolt. The Empire is the cause of the infighting. If we rid ourselves of them, the situation should resolve itself. That's why I'm thinking we should make this our base, raise up an army, and stir up some trouble for the Empire.
Now you're talking. Sounds like fun!
So then, Mr. Leaderman, does this mean you intend to rope us into your little scheme?
My grandfather passed away. That means yours truly is officially the leader of the Alliance.
If we had a more reliable leader, perhaps the Alliance would not have been divided.
Think what you will. All I need to know is if you're in or you're out.
I'm happy to lend a hand. I won't let those Imperial dogs set foot in Alliance territory. I couldn't bear it if my village got caught up in the chaos of war.
I'll fight too. I've got to protect my little sis.
I will join as well. After all, House Ordelia was once dragged into an Imperial revolt. It ruined us.
Of course. I understand your motivation.
I'll fight too. It's time to take responsibility for my own future.
I don't want to run anymore. I hope I'll be of use to everyone.
We can do anything if we work together, Marianne.
What about you, Lawrence? Are you going to go back home to your scary father or what?
We cannot rely on Claude's scheming to lead us to victory. Therefore, I will remain. It is my duty to ensure Claude does not worsen the situation in the Alliance.
All of us are fighting for a different reason, but we share a common enemy. If we don't act, the Empire will crush us eventually. I say we stop them before they have the chance. So, Teach, will you help as well? Please do. I'm counting on you. Even if your ultimate goal is to find Rhea, it would be better to stick with us as you search. With you on our side, the Church will join us as well. That makes fighting the Empire a moral cause, which means it'll be easier to rally support. Above all, your knowledge and strength are indispensable if we hope to stand a chance against the Imperial Army. Without you, my schemes are nothing. They're just words. Please, take all of that into consideration as you decide.
You're really laying it all on the table, aren't you, Claude? Well, all that aside, this place is a mess. We can't very well make our base in a ruin. And repairing it sounds like a lot of work. I wonder if anyone would be willing to help us out with that.
Can it be? You were alive all this time?
Professor!
We've been everyone with stuff. Cyril, that's
I do.
It has been how we had even if
Yeah!
I can agree with them. We would
Fantastic!
Part 2. Verdant Wind. Guardian Moon. The Alliance Leader's Ambitions. Claiming the monastery at Garreg Mach as its home base,
Good work, Hilda. You didn't do much manual labor, but you managed to rope the knights into helping us restore the monastery.
Thanks, Claude. But all I did was piggyback on your scheme. I saw your eyes telling me to make some magic happen.
Thank you so much for your help with the restoration.
Oh, please, it was nothing. We're just doing our part as former students.
I'm told you even routed the bandits. That job should have fallen to us. I'm sorry for the trouble.
Hey, don't think twice about it. We're all allies in the resistance against the Empire, right?
The Church is at war with the Empire, but let's be realistic. Wouldn't it be better for the Alliance to eventually submit?
The way I see it, the Emperor wants to take over all of Fódlan and destroy the existing order of the world. I can't see her allowing the Alliance to continue to exist. We're in this just as deeply as you are. Actually, we were hoping to use this place as a base. The Empire begs to be meddled with, and we're first in line.
What? Why would you want to make your base here of all places?
Garreg Mach is situated in the center of Fódlan, both geographically and spiritually. We want to secure this location while the Empire is still overlooking it.
I see. The Empire doesn't see this place as important at the moment because it's far from the front lines.
But if we simply decide that it's ours to occupy, that does nothing to inspire the hearts and minds of the people of Fódlan. Luckily, good old Teach has finally returned to us. If the Professor Rhea entrusted with the Sword of the Creator fights at our side, well now, that's a just cause anyone could get behind. What's more, here we are, working alongside the legendary Knights of Seiros. It smacks of divine providence, doesn't it? Can you feel it?
I have heard what you have to say, Claude. And you, Professor? Where do you stand? We are at a relative standstill, but with the help of the Alliance, the Archbishop said if anything should happen to her, that we should entrust the affairs of the Church to you. If you intend to fight alongside the Alliance, then I will follow you as well. Is that acceptable, Claude?
Of course. I can't think of anything more reassuring than having both Teach and the Knights on our side. Together, we'll stop the Emperor and her reckless ambitions. Oh, hey there. What are you doing up at this hour? Is that right? I guess the more you have to think about, the harder it is to fall asleep. At times like this, I like to gaze up at the stars to clear my head. I've been that way since I was a kid. Looking up at the big, starry sky makes my dreams feel small, which makes it feel like I can actually make them come true. I didn't believe in gods when I was a kid. Maybe that's because the night sky took their place for me. Hey, Teach, will you talk with me a while? I bet you figured this out, but I wasn't born in Fódlan. Where I come from, the people of Fódlan are looked down on as cowards. Technically, that cowardice runs in my veins. On my mother's side, anyway. That's why the people who were around me when I was growing up thought of me as an outsider. But I don't believe the people of Fódlan are cowards. That kind of perspective is just based on ignorance. The person from Fódlan who I know best is my mother. She fell in love with a man from the wrong side of the border and had the guts to leave home to pursue that love. I always threw that in the faces of anyone who tried to make a fool of me. My mother is proof the people of Fódlan aren't all cowards. Just saying that doesn't achieve anything, though. I need to destroy the prejudices that have taken root in my homeland. That's why I came here, to see Fódlan with my own eyes. I thought I might be able to find a new perspective that could help me change things. And what did I find? That the people here view anyone who's an outsider as a beast of sorts. I was shocked. Even though our cultures and beliefs are completely different, our two lands have that much in common. That's when I realized the only way to change things is to bring the whole world together and start anew. That's the dream I've been working towards since I first entered the Officers Academy 5 years ago. To unify the Alliance, and then all of Fódlan, and to bring a new set of values to this new land of mine. After that, I'd expand that vision to the rest of the world, break down the walls, and let a new perspective come rushing in, start all over. Do you think that's just a crazy pipe dream, or a brilliant ambition? Not too long ago, I would have said it was too much for me to accomplish on my own. But that's not how I feel anymore. And that's because I have you on my side now. Lately, I've spent a lot of time thinking about how I wouldn't have made it this far without you. You and me, Teach. We can go anywhere. Do anything. I hope that you always walk in step with me. At least, until the day comes when we can look out at the peaceful world we've built. Together. Everyone, listen up. I have a proposal. We are now building our forces in order to rise up against the Imperial Army. But it wouldn't be smart for us to fight under the banner of the Alliance. That would only incite the lords who support the Empire. We've also combined forces with the Knights of Seiros. Therefore, I suggest that we operate under a new symbol. That's why I've prepared this. You may recognize it as the Crest of Flames, which resides in Teach, the phantom crest that has reappeared after more than 1,000 years. We're attempting our own miracle, so it seems like a suitable symbol for us. So, until we welcome the dawn of a new age in Fódlan, let's fight to the very end as one under the symbol of the Crest of Flames.
Impressive, Claude. Forget restoring the monastery. You've somehow roped everyone into fighting back against the Empire.
If you recall, I never technically asked anyone to join us. If anything, we have Teach's achievements to thank. Now that you mention it, I guess I should express my gratitude. Hey, friend. So this is where you've been. Without you, the Knights never would have joined our cause. I can never pay you back for that. Just leave it to me, Teach. When this fight is over, I plan to see all of my dreams come to fruition, and yours as well. Well, for example, to bust open Fódlan's throat. There's a massive fortress there, which is responsible for protecting the eastern border of the Alliance. I like to think of it as a lid on a bottle. The people of Fódlan only know a small part of the world. Their prejudices are born because they don't know what lies beyond their borders. And the opposite is true too. Those outside of Fódlan don't know about this place. Ignorance breeds discrimination. Whether you look inside the bottle or outside of it, if you really look, all you'll find are people who you can get along with if you only try. That's why I want to bust open that lid, which is keeping us locked inside, or destroy the bottle entirely. I'll find the right time to bring it up. Even if I talked about it now, it doesn't seem realistic, does it? First, we need to defeat the Empire and restore peace to... Huh?
Professor! Claude! We're under attack!
I guess we'll have to cut our conversation short. What's going on, Leonie?
It's a small group, but some Imperial troops are headed this way. It looks like they were stationed nearby.
I've got to hand it to Edelgard. Nothing gets past that woman.
All right. I'll show you how much I've improved, Professor.
This will be our first battle alongside the Knights of Seiros. Let's kick off our new partnership with a magnificent victory. Phew, nice work. We won without much incident, thanks to all of you.
Now the enemy knows we're on the move. What do you plan to do?
I intend to ask the Alliance Lords to share some troops with us to bolster our forces.
I will speak plainly. No matter whom we beseech for reinforcements, our envoys will inevitably pass through Gloucester territory. My father is being cautious not to give the Empire a pretext to intervene. Therefore, he is unlikely to allow even envoys to pass through.
I guess I haven't told you yet, Teach. The kingdom isn't in a position to be sending anyone reinforcements. After losing King Lambert during the tragedy of Duscur, a regent had been handling its politics. But then, there was a bloody coup. The regent and Prince Dimitri both. Apparently the whole family was killed. All bladed territory, including the kingdom capital, is being ruled by those who are cooperating with the Empire. The kingdom is no more. It's now called the Fargus Dukedom. The vast majority of the former kingdom lords bent a knee to the overwhelming power of the Empire and the dukedom, and now fall under their jurisdiction. Some who formerly held power are continuing to resist, but it would be difficult for them to regain it.
Oh hey, I can think of one person who we can ask for reinforcements. Someone whose territory is really close and who's on good terms with Claude. Ah, the hero of Daphne, I presume.
I've seen her before, and she does seem to be reliable.
You're talking about Judith, right? I bet she would lend us a hand.
That's right, you've met her once before, Teach. She's a fearsome one-woman army. She did a lot for me, even before I was recognized as the heir to House Regan. I don't like the idea of owing her more than I already do, but given the current situation, sacrifices must be made. I'll reach out to her. As for the rest of you, prepare for our next battle. Hey, Teach. How are you feeling? Does anything feel strange at all? Well, you were asleep for 5 whole years after all. It'll probably take time to get you back to top form. Though I'm relieved to see you haven't lost a step as far as combat goes. Your command bringing my schemes to life. That's just how we fight best. Not yet, but there's no need to worry. That woman adores me. Once we've bolstered our forces, it'll finally be time to start taking decisive action. But I wonder, do you really think Rhea is still alive? I think so too. It's hard to imagine the death of someone as important as her staying a secret. I wonder where she is and what she's doing. All I know is that I still have a lot of questions I need to ask her. About the true history of Creststones and Heroes' relics, and the truth behind the legend of Seiros and Nemesis. She has secrets. Too many of them for my comfort. Considering the state of the world, it's suspicious. You must be curious about what was done to you and what her plans were for you, right? And you never did learn about your mother, did you? None of our doubts will ever be cleared unless we hear these answers from Rhea herself. In that sense, I absolutely hope Rhea is still alive. But as far as Fódlan goes, I do wonder what a world without Rhea would look like. The majority of people in Fódlan believe in the Seiros faith that Rhea preaches. That's why they accept the noble system as if it were the only option, and refuse to associate with those who believe in anything else. That closed-minded philosophy is the reason why Fódlan's throat is locked tight. But if you remove the archbishop who strictly advocates that doctrine, that worldview is no longer an absolute. There's room for free thought. The leadership of the church would undoubtedly fall to you, and you would hold the power to change the shape of the faith, of the world. Then, for the first time, people would truly be free to think for themselves, to decide what's right and what's wrong. Honestly, I believe Edelgard is probably hoping to achieve something very similar. But her methods require too much bloodshed. That's not something the world can get behind. Anyway, the best thing we can do is find Rhea and hear what she has to say. Oops. I guess I've been going on for a while now. Sorry about that. You should get some rest.
What? Not enough left for seconds? I'm barely half full!
You eat too much anyways, Raphael. Supplies are running low, so you're just gonna have to deal with it.
You've always been so level-headed, Cyril. Now that you've grown up, you're even more that way.
Maybe it's just that the rest of you haven't grown enough. You could work harder at being reliable.
I can't grow if I can't eat.
I have some good news for my hungry friends. We got a reply from Judith. Mr. Leaderman has called a meeting about it. Hurry up, everyone.
We finally received a reply from Judith. The hero of Daphnel has agreed to support us with soldiers and supplies.
She's gonna give us food? She really is a hero.
Maybe Raphael will simmer down now.
Now, regarding where we're going to receive the delivery.
As this is a request from none other than the leader of the Alliance, I wish that I could send troops at once. However, openly marshaling soldiers within my territory could provoke other members of the Alliance. Therefore, I will secretly gather troops in Aelel, the Valley of Torment. Will your group be able to receive the soldiers at this location? From there, it should be safe to return to the monastery by following the border between the Alliance and the Kingdom.
Aelel is on the border between Daphnel territory and the Kingdom. It'll make sense when we get there, but it's a peculiar region.
I recall there being a scary legend about it.
In any case, if we use that valley, we shouldn't have to worry about being noticed by other Alliance lords.
Aelel, the Valley of Torment.
To think we'd get into a scrap here, of all places. We're lucky we all made it out alive. Don't worry about it. In this day and age, it's a miracle I've been unscathed this long. Anyway, long time no see, Professor. Are you still watching this boy's back?
Can you quit calling me a boy in front of everyone? I'm the leader of the Alliance now. It's not proper.
Not proper, is it? Says the leader who has neglected Alliance territory for years. If you're really the master tactician, you should go back to working quietly at whatever little desk you do your planning on.
Don't call me that either. Who even came up with that nickname?
It's a perfect title for a boy who loves crafty schemes as much as you do. You should be grateful to the professor. On your own, you'd look like a scoundrel of a leader.
Claude's usually so flippant, but even he gets overwhelmed when Judith is around.
As expected from the leader of the prestigious House Daphne, her dignity is beyond compare, even if she is no longer one of the 5 great lords. The 5 most influential lords of the Leicester Alliance. They hold the voting rights at the Round Table conferences. House Daphne used to be included among their ranks, but division from within has hastened their decline. Their vote has since been passed to the emerging Margrave Edmund.
Thanks for the exposition, Gloucester boy.
Boy? I will not.
Now to business. There were some unexpected interruptions, but I've brought soldiers and supplies as promised.
Thanks, Judith. I'll gladly take them off your hands.
Hold your horses, boy. You're misunderstanding. These soldiers are precious to me. I made them what they are. I'm not about to loan them out to someone.
No? Then why did you come here?
What I'm saying is that I'll be joining your army. You're going to fight the Empire with the Knights of Seiros, right? Fight for Lady Rhea? Not without me.
That's admirable and all, but we still don't know for sure if Rhea's in the...
Oh, she's there. A witness saw Lady Rhea being dragged off by the Imperial Army after the battle 5 years ago.
Are you sure your source is reliable?
One of my own saw it happen. I'm certain.
It seems we chose wisely when we decided to fight against the Empire.
But you're the leader of House Daphne. Is it okay for you to leave your territory unattended?
And what about you? Is it okay for you to leave the Regan territory unattended?
I've left it in the hands of a reliable retainer and...
And I've asked that retainer to watch over Daphne territory as well.
Wait. You just up and decided to get my retainer to do that without even asking me? No respect, this one.
Oh, you haven't met him yet, Professor? His name is Nardell. He strikes me as a really special individual. And he's quite handsome, too.
So that's your definition of handsome?
No objections, then? Good. That settles it. House Daphne is now yours to command.
I'm sure you'd come along even if I refused. So be it. We'll be counting on you, Judith. With Judith joining our forces, we've secured some more troops and supplies, albeit not many.
I'm sorry it couldn't be more.
No, it's enough for the time being. We'll use them to secure even more troops and supplies. The key to my plan is Count Gloucester, the leader of the pro-Empire faction in the Alliance.
You intend to sway my father to join the other side?
If Count Gloucester were to switch to the other side, that would basically unify the Alliance. Then we could utilize our full military force in the fight against the Empire.
You don't mean to ask me to persuade him, do you? That would be quite impossible.
I don't plan on it. We'll just take his concerns out of the equation. The Aramid River flows along the border between Gloucester territory and the Empire, right? Of all the bridges that cross it, the Great Bridge of Murden is the only one near Gloucester territory large enough for an army. Currently, the Imperial Army occupies it.
So, if we were to capture the bridge...
Count Gloucester would be freed from the threat of the Empire, thanks to us.
But we have to pass through Gloucester territory to reach the Great Bridge of Murden, do we not?
Yes, and if we attempted it, naturally he would try to stop us.
I am sorry, but I must ask. Surely you do not plan to engage in combat with my father?
Don't worry. I want him as a future ally. What good would it do to waste both of our forces fighting? We can't be stealthy with so many people, but I have a scheme. Preparations are already in the works.
So the master tactician is finally going to show us his true power. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll do my best to live up to that name by making my scheme as impressive as possible. Preparations are complete. Now it's a game of patience. As they say, good things come to those who wait.
Care to elaborate on this plan of yours, Claude? Can we really do this without battling my father?
Pretty soon, Count Gloucester will need to gather his troops in the northern part of his territory. You got it, Teach.
The combined forces of the Regan and Daphne houses will threaten the northern part of the Gloucester territory. Nardell, that retainer I mentioned, is going to draw their attention.
We'll take that opportunity to make our way through Gloucester territory and launch a surprise attack on the Great Bridge of Murden.
And are you not concerned about the possibility that I may tip off my father?
The future of the Alliance rests on this battle. I'm certain you won't betray us.
I will ensure our success.
I know you will. If we can win this fight, then our next goal will be to topple Enbar, the Imperial capital. I said before that my plan was to meddle with the Empire, but I'm gonna do you one better. We are going to defeat the Empire, once and for all. But to do that, we can't afford to slip up here. Bear that in mind and prepare yourselves for the coming battle. Well done, everyone. The Great Bridge of Murden is ours.
I was prepared for bloodshed, but that was more than expected. I guess I'm still not used to this.
Even our enemies were fighting for their own cause. They held out without fleeing until the bitter end.
That is true. I wouldn't want to become the type of person who feels nothing when someone dies.
Now it's on me to return to Alliance territory and convince those lords to join us. Lawrence, would you return home for the time being and lay the groundwork with your father?
Fine. After all, this is for the Alliance. Or rather, for all of Fódlan.
For those of you who live in Alliance territories, I ask that you return to your houses and spread the word about the current situation. Until we finish our preparations, Judith and the Knights will do everything in their power to defend the Great Bridge.
That's a casual way to dole out such a deadly mission, boy.
Do you object?
Just who do you think I am? I won't let the Empire pass this way, even if it costs me my life.
Too bad you're not allowed to die. Fight like your life depends on it, but flee if you're ever truly in danger.
A tall order, as always. I'll use my best discretion, Claude.
We have no objections either. Go forth and secure us a sufficiently powerful army.
I'll stay here too. The only ones I'd be going home to are my little sis and my grandpa.
Are you sure you don't want to see your sister? It may be a while before you can return home again.
But if I see her, I may not want to come back. So I'll wait till I'm done here.
Actually, I'd like for you to come with me, Teach, to help negotiate with the lords. They're followers of the Church of Seiros, after all. It'll make things easier if we have someone there to speak on Rhea's behalf. All right, everyone. Let's meet back at the monastery next month. Good luck out there.
Is that you, kiddo?
I have returned, Nardell.
Oh, Master Claude, it's you. I mistook you for one of the local children. My apologies.
It seems you have adjusted to your work here. Our recent strategy was successful, thanks to you.
I was a bit concerned when House Goneril's army intervened from the east.
Count Gloucester must have requested reinforcements from them.
Yes, and they have that young general who won some acclaim from his battles in Almyra. Regardless, they showed no signs of seriously wishing to attack us, and merely fulfilled their obligations to House Gloucester. Now then, who is this lovely lady?
This is my professor, who I asked to join me at the Roundtable Conference. Teach, this is Nardell, that retainer Judith was talking about.
How polite. I've heard good things about you from Master Claude.
As you can see, he wasn't born in Fódlan. Still, trust me when I say he is highly capable.
True! In fact, my capability is my only redeeming quality. I hope you'll continue to look after Master Claude, Professor.
All of that went about as well as it could have. Each lord has agreed to provide us with soldiers and supplies.
I'm impressed you were able to convince all of those scattered nobles to help us. I thought they would quarrel about how much support they should each provide. That's what they usually do.
Well, Count Gloucester took the initiative in taking on responsibilities. I presume that was because you spoke with him in advance, Lawrence.
I merely explained the situation at hand. Then my father simply followed your lead, Claude. It was because you had the professor there to represent Lady Rhea. My father is a pious follower of the Church of Seiros.
I don't doubt it. I wasn't under the delusion that it was my personal charm that unified everyone. Thanks for that, by the way. I hope you don't feel like I used you, because I sort of used you. I understand. You're having a hard time adjusting to your new role, aren't you? You weren't even a follower of Seiros to begin with, and somehow you've ended up as a representative of the Church. I realize that you might feel guilty about deceiving the believers for our cause. But this is just what the Archbishop wanted, and she's the highest authority in the Church. Besides, as wielder of the Sword of the Creator, it's undeniable that you're special. I think you should be more confident in yourself and use your position to the fullest.
I have news. Our enemy is gathering troops at Fort Merceus. Their army is immense, likely led by a renowned general, or perhaps even...
Well now, that would be interesting. If we can defeat the Emperor, then the Empire will collapse.
There's something else. An unidentified army has approached the Great Bridge of Myrden. They passed through the Daphne and Gloucester territories from the northwest with incredible speed. They're raising the banner of House Blaiddyd. Perhaps they are the remnants of the Fargus royal family. From what we could tell, they posed no threat to the citizens of the Alliance, and so we refrained from engaging them in needless combat.
Maybe they hope to fight against the Empire to avenge their fallen prince. And what about the bridge itself?
Obviously, we wouldn't let them pass without receiving envoys first. We thought they may try to force their way through. We considered firing warning arrows, but they left immediately, heading east.
Are they intending to use one of the bridges in Ordelia territory?
Most likely. But the Imperial Army still controls those bridges. I can't imagine what they intend to do in the Empire, even if they do manage to break through.
I'm reluctant to ease up on our surveillance, but it would be difficult to track them there. For now, let's assume they're just troops belonging to the Old Kingdom. In any case, we should proceed with caution. Soon we'll be entering Empire territory ourselves. If our enemies are going to intercept us with an attack, it will probably be at Gronder Field. How fitting that it was the site of the Battle of the Eagle and Lion 5 years ago. Very interesting. Oh, Teach. How long have you been there? Don't sneak up on me like that. You almost gave me a heart attack. Anyway, I'm reading the official biography of the Four Saints, as sanctioned by the Church. I know you're not very familiar with the teachings of Seiros, but even you must have read it at least once. Tell me again, how exactly did you manage to get a job teaching at an academy run by the Church? Well, whether you've read the biography or not, the Four Saints must at least ring a bell, right? Well then, I've got a little quiz for you. Name the Four Saints, companions of the great Saint Seiros. I'll give you a hint. There was Keyhole, Sethleen, Indek, and... who was the fourth one again? Correct. I was hoping you'd know that much at least. In any case, you can learn some interesting things reading about the life and times of Saint Macuil. For instance, he was more skilled with his hands than his fellow saints, and even became an accomplished blacksmith. He used his skills to forge countless sacred weapons for the army of Seiros. Of course, he didn't just forge the weapons, he also used them in battle himself. Legends say his strength was second only to Seiros. It's even said that he played a big role in the Battle of Tailtean, where Seiros fought Nemesis, the king of liberation who became the king of evil. Macuil lost his life in that battle, and now his body rests in a coffin within the Holy Mausoleum. Or so one story goes. Another legend says he set off on a journey to find a new land. That he left Fódlan from the east, crossed the sea, and vanished. He must have left Alliance territory, but where exactly would he have set sail from, I wonder? Thinking about it reminds me of another interesting story concerning the Srang region. The peninsula is attached to the mainland of Fódlan and extends from the northeastern part of Kingdom territory. If you were to set sail from Margrave Edmund's territory, you could cut across a stretch of sea and land there. And it just so happens that in the Srang region, there are ruins built to worship a sacred beast that appeared from across the sea. If the ruins have something to do with St. Macuil, there could be sacred weapons there. So, have I piqued your interest, or what? You always have to play it cool, don't you? Just think of how useful it would be to have weapons like that. Not to mention that the peninsula would be pretty easy to get to about now, seeing as how Alliance territory has settled down a bit. We'd be there and back in no time. No one would even notice we were gone. Come on, Teach. Let's go to the Srang region. I always see it through once I set my mind on something. Let's make the necessary preparations before I die of curiosity. There are the ruins. It looks like we're not gonna have the luxury of an excavation. Look, I bet those are the watchmen of the ruins, and that they've been ordered to keep out intruders. And that big beast? I hear they call it the Wind Caller.
Thieves! Only by defeating me can you claim the secret treasure.
Ah, it speaks! What is it?
Huh? Who are you? I'm just here for a bit of treasure. Don't attack me!
Someone got here first. Must be a band of looters. We can't let them get the treasure. Guess their luck's about to run out.
I'll do my best.
Let's go.
More fighting.
All ready when you are.
Leave it to me.
What's my strategy? It's time.
Let's make this quick. My orders? Shall we?
At the ready. I fought and won.
So reliable.
Shall we? I'll tolerate no obstacle.
What's the plan?
carefully.
If I don't get this treasure back,
I have an idea.
Huh? Are you losing? You're gonna die!
I've gotten stronger. This...
Got no time for mercy.
A nobleman does his duty.
Let's get moving.
All is going to plan.
A fitting outcome.
Predictable.
Worth a try.
No way I can lose here.
The treasure.
Our quarrel wasn't personal. Good.
I should...
Amazing.
Apologies.
I will not die yet.
It's over. It won't be in vain.
You're relentless.
I fought and won.
I've gotten stronger.
No.
After all the trouble we went through to get this treasure, I'm not gonna let you get your hands on it.
This'll take some strategy.
I fight for Lady Rhea.
Too close for my liking.
Don't get used to this.
I want.
Oh, thank you.
This is my stage now.
I smell those detestable 10 elites. Who are you?
I'm the grandson of the grandson of the grandson of the elite Regan. Now tell me who you are.
I am your family's enemy. If you carry the blood of the 10 elites, you cannot be permitted to live.
What do you mean by that? And what's that crest on your forehead?
No more talk. If you wish to survive, you must destroy me.
Pull out all the stops.
Those who stand before me, how long has it been? Hundreds of years, thousands. You have the stink of Sothis upon you. Let us find out whether you share her power. had your fun.
Let's try this.
Let's make this quick.
Let's try some. Let's go. Let's try something special.
Leave it to me.
We'll cover you.
Here's an idea.
More fighting. What's my strategy?
At the ready.
Too easy.
The weak.
Allow me to demonstrate. There's...
Wait.
It stopped moving. Is it dead? No. It seems it's just sleeping. I thought we were supposed to be given the treasure, but... forget it. I'll just have a look around there. What about this thing? Huh. I'll think about it later. Thanks for all your hard work, Teach. Sorry for dragging you along with me. I had no idea it would turn into a fight. But hey, at least we got some treasure out of it. I'll leave this in your capable hands. Do with it as you will. You know our friends even better than I do. Give it to whoever you think it'll suit best. More importantly, I didn't go there looking for treasure. Not really. Legends about the saints abound. It's hard to tell fact from fiction. I like to confirm whatever I can with my own eyes to find the truth in those legends. Not a thing. We didn't find anything concrete to prove that Saint Macuel had been there. We can't say for certain that the treasure we found was Macuel's either. I do wish we could have spoken to that wind caller a bit more. Unlikely. Macuel lived thousands of years ago. And I've never heard anything about the saints being monsters like that. Wait a minute. Could the wind caller have anything to do with the Immaculate One? The Immaculate One is a monster sent by the goddess. Could the wind caller be... Where was it that I heard that stuff about them having been sent by the goddess? Maybe I'm too tired. My head is heavy. I can't think straight anymore. Let's call it a day for now. I've got plenty of time to think this over.
Know that I will tear your heads from your shoulders. The dead must have their tribute.
As big class reunions go, this one's gotta be the worst in history.
Years ago, we fought here as classmates. But not today.
Kill every last one of them!
And so we fight on.
So, Edelgard retreated. I suppose she lives to be defeated another day. I suppose a win is a win, regardless of the circumstance. Some of our allies are injured, but can still fight. We'll just have to accept this outcome and press onward. Still, the battlefield looks awful. And I wonder what became of the Kingdom Army. And Dimitri.
I saw him.
Who? Dimitri?
He was completely different from how I remember him. He looked like a crazed demon while he was fighting. He pursued Edelgard as she retreated, but he didn't get far before he collapsed. I saw him surrounded by Imperial troops and pierced by their spears. I'll never forget it. He deserved a better end.
Dimitri. He went through so much to make it here, only for his efforts to be in vain.
I can't even begin to understand what Dimitri must have been feeling, but there must have been some other way. Why did he have to go like that?
And his vassal, Dedu. And did he fall as well?
I don't know.
Your Highness. Your ambitions are my own now. I will bring you Edelgard's head. I swear it!
Professor, Claude, may I have a moment of your time?
Lysithea, what are you doing up this late? Trouble sleeping? Anyone would be shaken after such a brutal battle. If you're having trouble sleeping, you should drink some warm milk. That's a thing, right?
Must you treat me like a child, simply because I'm awake a bit later than usual? Actually, I can hardly muster any indignation right now. I wanted to tell you that I noticed something odd during that battle.
What was it?
There were some strange mages among the ranks of the Imperial Army. Did you notice them? That's right. I have seen people dressed just like that before. It was a long time ago. House Ardelia was involved in a rebellion that took place within the Empire 13 years ago. After it was quelled, all of the key officials were caught and put to death. The Empire sent replacements, who they used to take control of House Ardelia. Among the people sent by the Empire were mages dressed in black, just like those we saw in battle.
If they're Imperial mages, it makes sense that they would wear the same clothing, right?
Yes, but the mages from back then and today, I do not believe they are from the Adrestian Empire. No. I got the impression that they were from somewhere else, somewhere completely separate from Fódlan. There's more. Those mages imprisoned the children from my house and performed horrible rituals on them, blood experiments.
Lysithea, you can't mean... even you?
Yes. All of the others were deemed failures. They all died. And even I... It doesn't matter. The point is that those monsters possess dreadful knowledge and power. I just thought you should know the sort of people who have allied with the Empire.
Blood experiments. Does that remind you of anything, Teach? Exactly. There was that secret group who abducted Flayn and extracted her blood 5 years ago. The people involved back then were Tomas and Monica. Well, I suppose their true names were Solon and Kranya. So, that eerie group has been slithering behind the scenes in the Empire for a while now. Lysithea, thank you for sharing all of that with us. One day we will uncover the truth of who those people really are. We've managed to invade Empire territory and emerge victorious in our first battle. I hope to maintain our momentum and push onward to Enbar, the Imperial capital. Unfortunately, we are not legendary heroes in a fairy tale. Our stamina has limits. The longer we fight, the harder the fight will become. It will take immense effort to secure the supplies and soldiers we need to prevail.
Boy, you better not be saying this is as far as we go.
Of course not. However, the road ahead leads deep into enemy territory. It'll be a difficult journey, strewn with hardship. I can't guarantee that we'll make it out alive. If anyone wants to leave, now is the time to do it.
I shall accompany you to the very end. After all, someone must step up to take leadership should you fall.
I'm coming. The future of my village depends on this. Besides, I have to protect the professor. For Captain Gerald.
I'm not going anywhere. Because of the Empire, my little sis can't live in peace.
We can't leave the future of Fódlan to others. I'm sure that everyone here feels the same.
The Knights of Seros will keep fighting the Empire. We won't rest until we rescue Lady Rhea.
I feel the same as the Knights. I've got to rescue Lady Rhea no matter what.
So, what? We're all supposed to take turns saying we'll do our best until the very end? And what about you, Marianne? What will you do? I'll fight too. Fine. Fine. I suppose I'll tag along too, until the bitter end.
It's an honor to keep fighting alongside such stalwart allies. Right, Teach? Hey now, when you put it that way, it almost sounds like you're just praising yourself. All right. Now that I know where each of you stands, I'm going to return to Alliance territory for a while. I intend to report this victory to the Alliance Lords and draw out even more support from them. Our next battle will be even more challenging, so brace yourselves for that.
I should write to my brother. He'll want to hear about our victory.
Your brother, Lord Holst? How is he these days?
Oh, he's doing great. I even got a letter from him before the last battle. He wanted to come and join our fight too.
What's this? Lord Holst come here? That would be a most reassuring development.
Sadly, it sounds like my father was against the idea. They want him to stay in case they need to fight the Almirans.
Their logic is sound, though it is vexing that the Alliance's greatest general cannot join us on the front lines.
We should be glad that Holst is staying behind. Almira aside, there's also no guarantee that the Imperial forces won't try to launch a surprise attack from the Old Kingdom territory.
If you have something you need to talk to my brother about, I'd be happy to send a letter.
No, that's okay. I'm just glad to hear he's doing well. Please send him my regards.
Our objective is Enbar, the Imperial capital, but our greatest obstacle lies before that.
And what's that?
Fort Merceus. If we can't pass through, we won't be able to reach Enbar.
Fort Merceus, the impregnable fortress, or so it's called.
If I recall correctly, it's sometimes referred to as the Stubborn Old General.
It is a massive fortress that was constructed to protect the Imperial capital.
The Imperial army we defeated has withdrawn to Enbar. Fort Mercius should be short on soldiers for now.
It would be best to take it before enemy reinforcements arrive. Still, there's a reason it's been called impregnable. The only real question is what our fearless leader intends to do.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. Those mewling lords kept me from leaving for quite some time.
So, were you able to secure additional reinforcements?
It's gonna have to wait until next month. It doesn't look like they can afford to keep supporting us at present.
Then what should we do about Fort Mercius? Do you plan on waiting around?
No. If we wait until next month, the enemy will have bolstered their defenses. That said, the prevailing theory is that you need triple your enemy's forces to take a fortress with a frontal assault.
Right. That's what we were taught at the academy. And this is Fort Mercius we're talking about. It's renowned for its strong defenses.
Our current army isn't nearly strong enough. What to do?
Whatever you do, just don't ask us to scale those huge walls. We'd end up dead when they hurl rocks down at us.
Yeah, no thanks. If only someone would open up the gates for us from the inside.
Unfortunately, we don't have any spies in there. Wait a minute. I've got it. We sneak in, stir up confusion, and open the gates ourselves to let our allies in.
Right, that's what I was saying all along.
Right, nice one, Hilda. But how do you propose we go about sneaking in?
Disguises? If we dress up like Imperial soldiers, maybe they'll think we're allies and let us in.
Do you really think they'd just open the gates for us? I'd be pretty dumbfounded if that worked.
No, she's onto something. It's a good idea, Hilda. We just need to refine it a bit, and we'll be in there before we know it.
Really? Go me!
What is your definition of refining the idea? I know your go-to strategy is nausea-inducing poison, but...
Oh, I maybe ate too much. My stomach hurts.
Raphael, why are you eating meat during a war council?
So, fearless leader, I'm guessing you're going to keep the crucial parts of your scheme under wraps until the time comes, aren't you?
You know me so well, Judith. Whether we like it or not, this war puts a damper on all of our spirits. What's wrong with trying to have a little fun every now and again? Just leave the details to me.
I delivered our letter to Fort Mercius. I don't think they suspected anything.
I knew I was right to entrust that task to you. You've got that honest kind of face that makes it easy to fool people.
Is that meant to be a compliment?
What did you write in the letter?
I informed them that reinforcements were on the way. It would have been suspicious for troops to show up unannounced.
So, the plan is...
We'll disguise ourselves as reinforcements from the Imperial capital and sneak into Fort Mercius.
Oh, you used my disguise plan after all.
We've also procured Imperial Army uniforms.
Ooh, good work. I knew this was the only way.
However, that alone wouldn't be enough.
You did say the plan needed a little more refinement. Are you going to dress up like Edelgard, Claude?
I'm not sure that would accomplish much. In the letter, I included the name of the Imperial General leading the reinforcements. While we're heading to the fort, a separate army is going to attack us.
We're going to be attacked?
That's all just for show, though. It'll be our allies who are attacking us.
Oh, I get it. We're going to make it look like the Alliance is attacking Imperial reinforcements.
Right. When the troops in the fortress panic and open up the gates, we're in.
I'd love nothing more than for this plan to work, but I've got some bad news for you. Apparently, the notorious Death Knight has been placed in charge of defending Fort Mercius.
The one who kidnapped Flame. The Death Knight. I did not wish to ever think of him again.
He got some acclaim in the battle to subjugate Western Fargus. They say he holds the most military prowess in the Empire.
Even so, we've got Teach here to command us. All will be well. You have to trust us.
So your big plan is to just trust your professor? Really, boy?
Under the professor's guidance, I'm sure we'll manage somehow. We're counting on the tactics you learned from Captain Gerald.
Prepare yourselves, everyone. It's time. Teach, this is for your ears only, but there's actually one more part to my plan. I had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but I have no choice. Absolutely. We can't afford to hold anything back. Thanks to Edelgard's strength, the Imperial Army is more unified than I would have expected. It was a painful realization, but after our battle at Gronder Field, it's clear that we can't win if we don't pull out all the stops. I also realized something else during that battle. There really is something special about you, Teach. The reason we were all able to keep our cool in the midst of the chaos was because we all trust in you, in your command and in your strength. Everyone here believes that we will win as long as we have you on our side. Our faith in you is borderline religious. You and I, we have what it takes to free Fódlan from the Empire's rule. I know in my heart that we'll make it through to witness the world after all the fighting has ceased.
That woman approaches.
Who are you talking about? You don't mean that professor, do you? It doesn't matter. No one could take this fortress.
Sounds like a bother. I'll be taking a nap about now.
Will Death's scythe claim you? Or will I fall to that sword of yours?
I see your skills haven't dulled yet, kiddo.
What did you expect? Everyone, listen up! From now on, the Almiran forces will be fighting by our side. We'll work as one, and we will bring down that fort together!
It is coming. Leave now, or all of you will die.
Run! We have to evacuate immediately!
What just happened here? The fort. It's just gone.
Hey, kiddo, what was with that javelin of light?
Javelin of light. Well, that describes it pretty well. The fortress was supposedly impregnable, but look at it now. It's hard to imagine that the Empire would do something like that. But if not them, then who? And for what purpose? If they wanted to kill us, then why wait until now to use it?
We almost died just now, and without an answer to any of that. Speaking of unanswered questions, why is Nardell here? Care to explain? I get the feeling there's something you two are keeping from us.
I'll go ahead and see my subordinates off to Elmira, kiddo.
Wait, Nader! Are you really just gonna leave me here and run away?
I hope to see you again, Judith. And you too, Professor. I'll be praying for your safety.
Nader, Are you saying that Nardell is actually Nader the Unstoppable?
It's actually Nader the Undefeated. Almirans love grand titles.
I knew he was no ordinary person, but to think he was the great hero of Almyra.
Hey, can we really afford to be chatting right now? If another one of those javelins of light falls, we're all dead.
Claude, there are things I wish to ask you, but first we must hurry and withdraw.
Right you are. Come on, everyone. Let's hurry up and get out of here.
Claude, it is time for you to explain. Why are you so close with an Almyran general?
Well, he did quite a bit for me when I was younger.
When you were younger? So, before you joined House Regan. How and where did you meet him? There aren't many opportunities to meet a general from Almyra in Fódlan.
If that's what you believe, it's only because that's what you've been led to believe. After all, we have Cyril here among our allies, and he was born in Almyra.
Hey now, don't drag me into this.
There's a big, wide world outside of Fódlan, and it's overflowing with different places and cultures. You think interacting with outsiders is odd, but isn't avoiding contact with the outside world far more unnatural?
Don't change the subject, Claude. To the people of the Alliance, the Almyrans are...
It's true that there's a history of hostility, but why should that mean we're doomed to remain hostile forever? The Almyrans aren't monsters. Just look at Cyril. Does he look like a monster to you?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Right, Teach? What did you think when you met Nader? I'll tell him you said that. And I'm sure that if all of you got to know him, all of your preconceived notions would change too. I know you guys, and you aren't the type of people to reject someone without trying to get to know them.
But how did those Almyrans even get past Fódlan's throat? I doubt my brother would just let them pass without saying anything.
Yeah, about that. I actually made sure your brother met Nader in advance.
What? Lord Holst met with an Almyran general?
Oh, so that's why you were so interested in my brother. But wait, they're supposed to be bitter enemies. They've fought each other several times before.
I know, it was a big gamble. But rather than having me try to convince them myself, I knew it would be easier to just have them meet. They were taken aback at first, but sure enough, they hit it off. They were even drinking to their newfound brotherhood before parting.
It makes sense. If you take the greatest heroes away from the battlefield, of course they'll get along.
Fighting 1 minute and drinking together the next? Men are so weird.
Ultimately, someone's bloodline has nothing to do with the friendships they forge. Relations between the Alliance and Almyra is a matter we'll tackle in the future. Still, I want to take this opportunity to make one thing clear to all of you. After we defeat the Empire, I intend to tear down the walls that separate Fódlan from the outside world. I want to let people and goods come and go freely, and in doing so, eradicate prejudices about the outside world.
Huh?
Would it even be possible to achieve such a thing? It directly contradicts the Seros' tenets.
Does it? I'm not so sure. In any case, I'm prepared for the inevitable protests and criticism. New ways of doing things are always met with resistance. During our time at the Officers' Academy, all of you overcame the barriers of birthplace, status, and ideology. Having gone through so much with all of you, I have no doubt that, in time, you'll understand.
I guess there were a lot of different people there. People we wouldn't have met through the normal course of our lives.
Duscur once opposed the kingdom, but there was someone from Duscur there. Brigid once invaded the Empire, but the Brigid princess was there. We ate at the same table as those people. Sure, sometimes we didn't get along, but other times we helped each other out. Can we really draw a definitive line in the sand and say one group of people is all good and another all bad? If I can realize my dream, Fódlan will be reborn. The old age will end, and we'll welcome a new dawn.
But if...
Save your objections for another day, Gloucester boy. That said, there are more pressing matters to discuss. Our next step is to invade the Imperial capital, right?
That's right. I'm sure Edelgard is eagerly awaiting our arrival in Enbar. Reinforcements from the Alliance Lords should arrive soon. Let's make sure we're ready to greet them. It's almost time to invade the Imperial capital. We still don't know where Rhea is, but if she's alive, she's likely in Enbar. Hopefully we manage to find her without too much trouble. If the Empire has some reason to keep Rhea alive, then she's alive. I'm sure you must be anxious to see her again. I understand. You need to see Rhea again so you can figure out who you really are. But we're going up against Edelgard here. It won't be so simple.
Our next stop is the Imperial capital. We've sure come a long way.
What are you talking about? This is Garreg Mach. It's where we started.
I didn't mean literally, Raphael. I was speaking symbolically.
My earnest desire to protect the Alliance has carried me this far. It will not fail me. I am sure the rest of you all have your own reasons to fight as well. Of course, I understand that the fight will not end until we defeat the Empire. And now the time has arrived at long last to march on the Imperial capital and defeat the Emperor.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? We all come from different places and have different goals and dreams. But thanks to those two, we were all able to come together and overcome all sorts of challenges. You are referring to Claude and the Professor, I assume? Even within our own odd group, those two are particularly unusual. Oh, so you are aware that you're odd. Well, it was simply a figure of speech. I am speaking about Claude and the Professor right now.
They're like the wind in the trees.
Huh? Claude and the Professor are? What does that even mean? And who is which?
Oh, I was just thinking that if we're the birds, then those two are like the trees and the wind. The Professor is a great tree that kindly embraces us and watches over us as we perch on its branches. And Claude is like the wind, pushing us forward as we soar across the open sky.
The metaphor about the Professor is solid, but I think Claude just blows us around on a whim. Still, we owe him a lot.
I think that's beautiful, Marianne. I can really picture it. When this war is over, I'd love to paint a picture of those two. Oh, and of all the people we've fought with as well.
You mean like a historical painting? I like that. Maybe our descendants will look at it a long, long time from now.
I must say, that piques my interest. I look forward to seeing how you portray my valiant efforts.
When you put it that way, we may be witnessing one of the greatest events in Fódlan's history. It's a lot of pressure, but the sense of duty I feel is even stronger than the fear.
I'm just happy to be here with all of you. I won't get scared, no matter what we face.
We have our goal. Enbar, the Imperial capital. Let's get to work.
There it is. Enbar. The Imperial capital and the largest city in all of Fódlan.
It's not just big. This city was designed to protect the castle where the Emperor lives. It's as though the city itself is a massive stronghold.
They surely noticed us approaching some time ago, and yet...
Our scouts confirm the citizens haven't been evacuated. They're being kept in town.
I've got to hand it to Her Imperial Majesty. Using her citizens as a shield to protect the castle takes some resolve.
I suspect those mages will be lurking within as well.
Troops deployed to other areas are also returning.
If we don't conquer the city quickly, things will get complicated fast.
We can't search until we conquer the city. Let's focus on the fight for now.
Lady Rhea, please be safe. We've kept the Empire waiting long enough. Onward! We've made it this far. Somehow. Edelgard is probably looking down on us from somewhere in that castle.
I wonder if she's panicking or just smiling smugly.
From this point on, she'll be giving it her all too. Expect her to be tougher than the last time we fought. This battle will settle things once and for all. We'll attack as soon as everyone is ready. Huh? Is that you, Dedu?
I heard the Alliance's army had entered the city.
I've been searching for you ever since. I arrived not long after the battle at Gronder Field. I am here to kill Edelgard.
Well, if you want to fight alongside us, we'd be more than happy to have you.
We fight for different objectives. I swore to offer Edelgard's head to His Highness. But, should I fail, I will have no choice but to entrust that mission to you. This is the information I have gathered during my time in hiding here. It includes details about the inside of the castle.
I appreciate this, but what do you plan to do? Don't tell me you plan to go alone.
I've done what I came here to do. Farewell.
Hey! Wait! He's gone. He's just as hard to understand as his liege was. The time has finally come, my friend. Once we win this fight, the Empire will fall. What will become of it? Well, that's for us to decide, isn't it? Odd as it sounds, I believe the forces responsible for destroying Fódlan are also responsible for protecting the livelihood of its citizens. Everything, even the land itself, has been harmed by the chaos of war. Restoring it will be no easy feat. To do that, the first thing we need to think about is a new ruling system for all of Fódlan. As usual, we're on the same page. I was thinking the same thing. Even if the Alliance Lords and any remaining influential nobles were to divide up dominion of all of Fódlan, they would simply pursue their own interests. Another war would be inevitable. That's why there needs to be a powerful ruler who stands above them all and unifies Fódlan as one nation. My friend, do you really mean that? My dreams await in a future where Fódlan is no longer ravaged by war. There are things I want to see with you someday. I'll keep thinking about the best way to achieve that goal. Whatever we decide to do, we can't do it until we defeat the Empire. Fódlan can't welcome a new dawn until we win the war. Let's prepare as best we can. Is everyone ready? The objective of this battle is to defeat Edelgard and rescue Rhea. According to the information Dedue gave us, the throne room is directly north of the castle's main entrance. It's safe to assume that's where Edelgard is. She's a fellow student to all of us. If there's a path that we can walk together, that would be preferable. But that all depends on Edelgard. If she won't yield, then that's that. If showing pity would put my allies in danger, I will not hesitate to kill her. I ask that you and everyone here prepare yourselves to do the same.
Understood. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are prepared.
The future of the Alliance, no, of Fódlan, is at stake. I have been prepared for this my whole life.
Captain Gerald taught me that indecisiveness is a weakness. One must cast aside their doubts before fighting.
The lives of Lady Rhea and everyone here are more important than all else. I shall be prepared.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if she took one look at my overstuffed muscles and surrendered in tears then and there.
I really hope that Edelgard will yield.
Edelgard is a stubborn one. I don't think she's likely to surrender.
Goddess, please protect us.
I'll fight with all I got to save Lady Rhea.
Rescuing Lady Rhea is my dearest wish. We must prevail no matter what it takes.
In the name of the Knights of Seros, we'll bring the hammer down on the Imperial Army.
Satisfied yet, boy? Everyone made up their minds a long time ago.
Okay, let's get started. We're yours to command, my friend. Everyone, take your positions. The battle is upon us.
It looks as though my path will end here. Teacher, claim your victory. Strike me down. You must. Even now, across this land, people are killing each other. If you do not act now, this conflict will go on forever. Your path lies across my grave. It is time for you to find the courage to walk it. If I must fall, let it be by your hand. I wanted to walk with you.
It's over. We were only able to be here because of you. This wasn't the conclusion I had hoped for, even though Never mind. It's over now. The important thing is that we won.
Here, boy. A letter. An Imperial General asked me to give it to you.
A letter? Let's see it. It looks like it's from Hubert, Edelgard's vassal.
If you are reading this letter, that means I have perished. As Her Majesty would never surrender to another, I can only assume she has fallen as well. It greatly pains me to think of this coming to pass. That said, as the survivors, I must ask you to settle certain affairs in our stead. You must destroy the threat that slithers in the dark. I am sure you must recall Monica and Tomas. Their allies yet live. They hold deep resentment against the children of the goddess and the people of the world. And they are biding their time until they can exact revenge. If left to their own devices, it is certain they will eventually bring unimaginable calamity and suffering to the world. I detected their sorcery when you took Fort Merceus. I have deduced the location of their stronghold, Shambhala. You will find its whereabouts enclosed. There is no question that they are the enemies of everyone in Fódlan. Do not allow yourselves to forget that. Lastly, while I cannot say she is in good health, the Archbishop resides in a secret chamber in the Imperial Palace. I have shared the location of the entrance to that secret chamber with the person to whom I have entrusted this letter. I believe that Her Majesty will be victorious. Even still, I must plan for her defeat as well. If you wish to lead this world, I challenge you to rise to the occasion and surpass my estimation of you. Such is your obligation as the victors. And the only fitting tribute to all that Lady Edelgard sacrificed.
Hubert, to leave a letter like this behind, you were a better man than I believed you to be. So, Rhea is alive, and the fight isn't over yet. Those who slither in the dark. It sounds like Fódlan will never know peace unless we defeat them. The allies of Monica and Tomas, well, we knew about them already. I think it's safe to assume this is the same group who used Lysithea for their blood experiments. And they were also responsible for the javelins of light that destroyed the fortress. But who were these children of the goddess who they supposedly resent? There's just not enough information here. I don't suppose there's any chance that this is his idea of a prank. If so, wow, good one. Hubert, rather than writing a letter, you should have just told us before we fought. Right. We still don't know for sure if this letter is telling the truth. Let's go find out.
You have come to save me. Is this a dream? I have longed to see you again, all this time. Is it truly you?
Claude, I can see you have grown into a reliable young man. Thank you for supporting the professor, and for rescuing me.
Surely the protection of the goddess has...
Wait, Rhea. What do you know about the children of the goddess?
Children of... What is this about?
Forgive my bluntness. Someone from the Empire filled us in on a few things. I know it must be painful for us to ask you difficult questions after such an arduous confinement. But we have no choice. We must defeat a secret enemy. Those who slither in the dark. Do you know about them?
Those who slither in the dark.
Apparently, they resent the children of the goddess and the people of the world, and are planning something big, something terrible. They use blood for their wicked magic and are capable of dropping javelins of light from the sky, which are powerful enough to crush a fortress. If you can think of anything at all, please tell us now. We need to know as much as possible about these enemies in order to stop them. This is the critical moment that will determine whether or not Fódlan falls. Can't you see that the time for secrets has passed?
It is true that there is a group of people who have slithered in the darkness and threatened the peace of Fódlan since ancient times. I am sure you have heard the stories of a man named Nemesis.
Nemesis, the King of Liberation. He's the hero to whom the goddess gave the Sword of the Creator.
Nemesis was originally the leader of a group of bandits. He plundered the Holy Tomb and stole the remains of the progenitor god. When Nemesis appeared in Xanadu some time later, he already wielded the Sword of the Creator.
According to legend, the goddess gifted him the sword to fight against the evil gods.
I do not know how Nemesis obtained the sword, or why he appeared in Xanadu, but he used that sword to massacre the people there, the children of the progenitor god. From their corpses he gained even more power, and brought war to Fódlan.
That's completely different from what the legends tell us about Nemesis.
A mere bandit like Nemesis would not have been capable of anything so monstrous on his own.
Aha! So Nemesis had accomplices. And those accomplices must have been those who slither in the dark. They used Nemesis. And this time, they used the Imperial Army to once again bring war to Fódlan. I finally get it. And I even understand why Edelgard was associating with them. Just as they were trying to use the Empire was trying to use them. Rhea, there's still a mountain of things I need to ask you, and I will. But I'll leave all of that for another day. You must be weak after living in confinement for so long. Please rest for a while. My friend, let's prepare for battle. We need to strike Shambhala as soon as possible.
You must not allow Fódlan's bloody history, the Red Canyon tragedy, to repeat itself.
It occurs to me that we never got an answer from Rhea about the children of the goddess. She did say that the people of the Red Canyon were the children of the progenitor god, so I suppose so. But those evil guys continued to plot their revenge even after the Red Canyon tragedy. Does that mean some of the children of the goddess, or their descendants, are still alive? If there's something special about her blood, we can't rule out the possibility. What are these children anyway? And how are they connected to the goddess? I almost disappeared into the bottomless swamp that is my mind. I thought that after we defeated the Empire, I'd be able to see that sight I longed to see. I've told you about my dreams before. I want to break down the wall separating Fódlan from the outside world. The sight I want to see lies beyond that. Honestly, it's a trivial thing to fixate on. Just people, gathered in their towns, living out their lives together, sometimes laughing, sometimes fighting. But the people living there aren't just citizens of Fódlan. There are people from Dagda, Bridget, and even Dusker and Srang. There could be people who were born in Elmira, or countries even farther east there, too. All of those people living together like it's nothing special at all. That's the side I long to see. It's so simple, but still so far away. But this is no time for complaining. We need to focus on capturing Shambhala. Let's hurry up and gather everyone together.
So, you mean to tell me that Fódlan will fall to ruin if we leave those guys be?
If this map is reliable, their base is just south of my family's territory.
This story is a bit much to believe. And yet...
It does ring true, somehow.
Remember Monica, the one who killed Gerald, and the old man who was masquerading as Tomas? They were their allies, and the Flame Emperor and the Death Knight were merely their pawns.
The people who were after my blood?
They were also the ones who used me to conduct their blood experiments.
As awful as it sounds, they're seemingly fond of using blood in their secret techniques.
Ugh, that's really gross. I could never be friends with someone like that.
I believe they were also responsible for the Javelin of Light that destroyed Fort Merceus.
Hold up, boy. Do you really think that we can win against such powerful foes?
I don't know. But we have to try, don't we?
We've really taken on something big. I wonder if our names will go down in history.
My heroic name, passed down to future generations? A worthy cause indeed.
They were trying to use the Imperial Army to plunge Fódlan into war. But we nipped that in the bud. Now we just need to tear out their roots. And I know we have what it takes to do it. I just don't get it.
What is it, Claude?
Those Javelins of Light. They were trying to use it to kill us at Fort Merceus, right? But then why not drop it on Garreg Mach? They must have known for a while that we were here.
It is not that they chose to refrain, but rather that they were unable to do so.
Rhea, how are you feeling?
I am well enough. I cannot afford to rest while Fódlan is in danger.
What do you mean when you say they couldn't drop a Javelin of Light here?
Once, a very long time ago, a massive ball of light fell upon this monastery. However, that light mysteriously changed course in mid-air and landed in Aelel instead.
Aelel, the Valley of Torment. So that's what the wreckage of those Javelins of Light looks like.
The Holy Tomb is not only the location of the progenitor god's eternal slumber, but also a sacred vessel for a power that repels evil. Supposedly, the progenitor god built the Holy Tomb herself to protect her children from the evil light.
So the children of the goddess gathered in Xanadu because of its proximity to the monastery? But we've fought at distant locations many times.
Despite that, the Javelins of Light only fell on Fort Merceus.
In his letter, Hubert said that he detected their magic when the fort fell. In other words, because they used a Javelin of Light, Hubert was able to pinpoint the location of their base.
So they didn't use it before then because they didn't want us to know where their base is?
In any case, those Javelins of Light must be something they can't just use whenever they want. And they finally decided to use one at Merceus, where they were sure they'd be able to finish us off. It's only thanks to the whims of the Death Knight that we escaped with our lives. And no Javelins of Light have fallen since then.
It's possible that the enemy hasn't yet realized that we've learned the location of their base.
If so, their guard may be down, which makes this the perfect time for a surprise attack.
I will accompany you.
What? No, that would be far too dangerous. Your long confinement weakened you greatly, did it not?
Those people have opposed us since ancient times. I wish to learn the truth about them for myself.
I understand. I will not stop you, but please take care not to overexert yourself.
We don't know exactly what we're up against here, but having you around is very reassuring, Rhea. Let's prepare to strike at Shambhala before they make their next move.
Relying on a map entrusted to them by Hubert, the Alliance army sets their sights on the base belonging to those who slither in the dark. Beyond its entrance, they are met by a sprawling underground city.
Incredible! Who knew that there was such a vast space beneath the ground?
It's like an underground city. I've never seen buildings like these before.
It's like an ancient ruin, but not just because of its appearance.
I don't recall ever seeing architecture like this.
It is magnificent in a sense, but I could hardly call it beautiful. Even the air feels stagnant.
In any case, it seems like we need to go deeper. Let's look around and see if we can find some stairs.
No. It is simply... we must defeat those who slither in the dark, no matter what happens. But if my conjecture is correct, the one who they will wish to kill the most is you, dear child. They are aware that you can use the sword of the Creator. Your body houses the same power they once bestowed upon Nemesis. That is why I fear for you. Perhaps. Please forgive my errant thoughts. Once this battle is over, I will explain everything. I will tell you all I know about who you really are.
For thousands of years, we have existed underground, living on only that we might someday see our vengeance realized. Here and now, that vengeance is finally within our grasp. There is but one thing left to do. Destroy them! Damn those who stand with that arrogant goddess to oblivion, away from the world of the living! Now is the time. Remove the binding spell of Titanus. Let their metal bodies be drenched in blood!
Hey, what are those big things?
Demonic beasts? No, I think not. They appear to have no will of their own. Someone must be controlling them.
Initiate all that remain! We must advance our preparations!
I'll do my best.
What's my strategy?
It won't be in vain.
Shall we? Our quarrel wasn't personal.
My orders?
Ready when you are.
Leave it to me.
Shall we?
More fighting. Winning is what matters.
I'm impressed.
At the ready.
Let's make this quick.
what's the plan?
Let's go.
All is going to plan. There's...
Not so fast!
I shall not stray.
Time for second! Can't afford to lose. Did it.
Strike you down!
I fought and won. You'll need me for this. I know just the thing.
Viscum has been activated. Increase output gradually, depending on the amount of magical energy charged. I don't care if we destroy Shambhala, so long as our goals are fulfilled.
No chance.
Fun to watch. Will this ever end? I'm go-
careful.
I've got no time for mercy.
Nice try.
In a hurry to die, are you? Too close for my liking.
I'm impressed.
You should have seen that coming.
Next one's mine. Pure grit! I'm not dying here. Be smart or I'm finished. Stood the trick. My orders?
No way I can lose here.
You got yourself killed.
That's what you get.
Our quarrel wasn't personal.
Make a difference?
You're amazing.
Got it. I'm good.
Just be careful. At the ready. Let's go.
Let's make this quick. You lost that one. Shall we?
More fighting.
Still in it.
What's the plan?
Leave it to me.
I'll back you up.
Here's an idea.
Ready when you are.
My orders?
I'll do my best.
What's my strategy?
I am here.
We've got to try.
I'm sorry.
Shall we? Good. I must... A nobleman does his duty.
Incoming!
Pull out all the stops.
Still in it. Time for second!
I'll try.
I must...
Good time for a secret scheme.
Not bad at all.
Just like that.
just me?
It seems someone is trying to remove something.
Now's my chance.
It won't be in vain.
No way I can lose here.
Leave it to me.
Ha! It is laughable that base animals such as you would bear fangs at the likes of us.
I may be a base animal, but I have strong allies. Do you think you can beat Teach and the Sword of the Creator?
The Sword of the Creator. The blade given to Nemesis. Who do you really think is superior?
There's a big difference between the living and the dead. The fate of the future lies in the hands of the living. Hold a grudge if you must.
You will never get to enjoy your victory.
It can't be.
For all Agarthans, let there be light!
Coming down!
Hang in there, Lady Rhea. Get her to her room, quickly!
That's a serious injury. It's a miracle that she's even alive right now. I'll do what I can, but...
Goddess, please save Lady Rhea. All we can do now is pray.
Remember when this place was taken 5 years ago and a pure white beast appeared on the battlefield? I only caught a glimpse of it, but I didn't understand where it came from. There were rumors that the goddess sent it to protect the monastery. But now I know better. That beast was Rhea. Did you know Rhea's true identity? I once showed you a picture of a creature known as the Immaculate One. Sedith confiscated it, saying it must have been one of Tomas's personal possessions. The beast that appeared back then looked just like it. So Rhea is the Immaculate One. The book said that it was a servant of the goddess, but wouldn't it make sense if beasts like that are actually children of the goddess? Rhea is in a grim state right now. It's possible she may not make it, but we have things we must ask her about. Once things calm down a little, let's go and see Rhea. Together. The truth can't be delayed any longer.
Part 2. Verdant Wind. Verdant Rain Moon. Fódlan's New Dawn. With the destruction of Shambhala, the ambitions of those who slither in the dark are forever shattered. However, Rhea has suffered grievous injuries in the process. Yet, certain mysteries remain unsolved. So Claude and the others approach Rhea, who is now confined to her room due to her wounds.
I am happy to see you two.
Sorry to interrupt your rest. But there are some things that we absolutely must ask you.
It seems I do not have much time left. I do not intend to hide anything any longer.
Rhea, I have to ask, you're the Immaculate One, aren't you? If what I'm thinking is correct, that's what the children of the goddess is referring to. In other words, you...
I am the last child of the progenitor god. A long time ago, the progenitor god came from somewhere far away and descended upon this continent. She changed her form to resemble that of a human and gave her own blood to birth her children. The progenitor god and her children shared knowledge and skills with the people of the land. Together, they built a prosperous civilization. But the humans turned their backs on the teachings of the progenitor god and engaged in senseless wars. Eventually, people began to think of themselves as gods and challenged the progenitor god herself to battle. The land was scorched in the war that ensued, and the majority